Yeah, that's better. You can get it. Marvelous.
Yo, what's good? Welcome back to the channel, y'all. And look. It is time. Everyone far and wide, across the seas, across the oceans and lakes, even your bitch wants to know, what is the best top 10 decks of the OP11 format so far?
God, I'm good.
But look, Gabe, there's a couple of prereqs we have to hit first. First off, there is no Dofi. We ain't gonna talk about no bitch-ass decks that's going to get packed up on the ban list.
Nope.
Fact, not an opinion, okay? New op pack in the air. This shit fire or what? Let me know for the Zaza, because I'm about to roll up right now when we're doing this video. Fact, not an opinion. That's the first thing. No Dofi. Second thing is we're gonna have 3 honorable mention decks. Some of these decks maybe only have topped once, or yeah, all these decks probably topped like once. I'm pretty sure if the source is correct, topped once. I feel like they're good options. So look, you can't be the best at what you do if you don't put a little extra effort and work in. Fact, not an opinion. So we got 3 honorable mention decks.
What are you waiting for? Chinese New Year?
And then we have 10 to 12 decks for the top 10. You guys are probably asking, why is there 10 to 12 if it's supposed to be a top 10? Certain categories tied for a certain amount of times they topped. And you know, I have to give you some of the sauce as well, gang. I mean, I can't leave you guys empty-handed. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get straight to our honorable mentions, gang. Let's get it.
You remember that song, We Are the Champions? Well, this is the B-side. I call it Honorable Mention.
So welcome back. It's time for us to cover the honorable mentions. As you guys can see, we have a couple of decks: 8.1, 8.2, 8, 9.1, 9. So these are decks I told you that in this particular 9 category, just give you guys some more options. But let's go ahead and get straight into honorable mention. Our honorable mention number 1 is Purple Blue Reiju. Purple Blue Reiju has, I think, only 1 top. But nonetheless, I still think this is a very shiesty ass deck. Just being able to use the buffed up cards from OP11, such as this Vinsmoke EGC, this Vinsmoke EGC, this Reiju as well. A lot of you guys don't even know what any of these cards are. Let's see what anything else is new in this deck. There's actually nothing else new in this deck. It's really just these 3, and they actually, no, they do have the Black Maria. So let's go over these 3 cards. I actually don't even know what they do anyways. So this is the 7-drop blocker EGG, okay? On opponent's attack once per turn, if you have the characters that have a type that includes Germa in play, you may activate this effect. Up to one of your leaders or characters gains a plus 1000 power during this turn, then trash 2 cards from the top of your deck, filling up the graveyard so you can really just spin back with the Vinsmoke Judge. Just really just abuse this card. This is your staple and glue of your deck, really just to apply pressure. Very shiesty ass card in my personal opinion. This is just another blocker. Not blocker, this is just a vanilla. Tell me why they're running this vanilla. Like I said, I'm not really too familiarized with the OP11 version of this deck, and I'm not going to sit up here and bullshit you and act like I know. So instead of me just bullshitting you just to sound smart, instead of me just sounding really dumb, just let me know below if you guys are a Purple Reiju fan. Let me know below what this vanilla is used for. And the other brand new card from OP11 is this Vinsmoke Reiju. This is from out of OP11. It's a 2K 4-drop 5000 power. On play, if your leader has a Vinsmoke family type, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, reveal up to 1 card with a type, include a Germa and add it to the hand, then place the rest of the cards in your trash. So this deck is starting to really remind me of a black deck with how much they're trying to fill the trash with this card and also one of these cards. And this actually goes really good in tandem with this Vinsmoke EGG. Just a lot of the babies, just a lot of babies. So this baby right here, this baby right here, this baby right here, they are actually not opting out to run the Sanji blocker. I do not see that in here, but for how much of an aggression type of deck with this Judge, if you guys are complaining about Gecko Moria, this is literally a Gecko Moria on steroids, just bringing back 4 Germa monsters, babies from the grave to really spin and get the fuck out. If you guys like combo high skill ceiling decks, this is the deck for you. The only thing about this deck is this stage. Usually if you don't see the stage, you're probably going to lose the game. So just keep that in mind. But this is a very combo centric deck. One of the hardest combos decks in the game to use. I still don't think this is harder than BOI Luffy. BOI Luffy is the hardest deck in the game, but BOI Luffy hasn't done anything. So if you guys do want a deck that has done something, this is the deck for you. Let's go ahead and get straight to our honorable mention number 2. Our honorable mention number 2 has to be Yamato. Yamato, I think, only has one top or maybe none at all, but this is just an honorable mention I do want to show you guys, because if you're just really just trying to go balls deep into the meta and really just trying to spin and make UP Luffy's have a hard day, no pause, no diddy, Yamato's definitely the move. Just being able to attack twice at a 3 life leader, you're pretty much just going to be shredding them. You're running the kid for some lockdown capabilities, and other than that, this looks like a standard Yamato build. He's actually running the Kami, just being able to search out some Merfolk. So this is an actual Merfolk build for Yamato. So this is if you guys never seen this before, this is the first time I actually seen it, but I already see what they're going for. Search, use something like this, be able to abuse the Hoodie Jones late game and really searching out your Jinbeis and also your Vander Deacon as well. This is the first time I actually seen a list like this, but nonetheless, let's just go over every single card here real quick. We're not gonna spend too much time on it. If you guys do want to try this deck really does look pretty shicey in my personal opinion, and just a different spin on Yamato. We haven't seen Yamato anywhere, so the fact that somebody's actually top and really cooked up something for all our Yamato players, you guys are eating good right now. Fact, not an opinion. Let's go over our third and most highly requested deck hopefully I could have found before this video, and it did pop up. It was the blue purple Hannibal. If you guys did see my meta breakdown, I told you guys that there was a Hannibal that topped, but I could not find it. I ended up finding it, and this is the deck list. So let's just go over all the cards here real quick. This is another one of the decks I'm not really too sure or like understand what's going on, but if I just take a look at it, it seems like early game you're really just abusing a lot of these impelled down cards right here, just being able to cycle back on, being able to ramp just so you can get to the Sanji play. And when you get to this Sanji part, I mean, Sanji's being used in anything that's blue because of all the powerful blue and purple cards out there. Fact, not an opinion. This shit is hella shy. Shit is spinning the box. Fuck you, old bitch. Monday, Tuesday, and on the weekend when you're out with your niggas. With that being said, Sanji can go into this play right here with the Monkey D. Luffy applying tons of pressure with the rush, attacking at 10k. You're also bringing this out as well with the Sanji, this Douglas Bullet. A lot of you guys don't even know what these cards do, so don't I, but just go ahead and look at that, and you really be able to reorder your life with this Nami right here. I feel like this is a staple card in a lot of blue decks that has some capabilities of abusing this Sanji. And look, if this is a leader that you guys don't want to really be copying anybody else in the meta, this thing really does look nice. Let's go over every single one of these cards again so you guys can see them, just in case I skipped it. I actually don't remember if I did this already, but nonetheless, it doesn't hurt doing it again, right? It only takes a couple seconds. But with that being said, this is our third honorable mention for the OP11 meta. Let's go ahead and get straight into our top 10 decks now, gang. Let's get it. So look, before we start, I just need to tell you guys one more thing. These top decks isn't just something I pulled out my ass like everybody else in the streets. No, this is actually hard stacks, and it's ordered by how many times this deck has actually won. I tried using Gum GG, but a lot of these tournaments aren't sourced properly. It says unknown from where the tournament is held, so I had to use One Piece top decks. It seems like it's a more reliable and viable website, but all these decks you guys are seeing is based off stats, not an opinion. Fact, not an opinion. So if you're feeling some type of way about your deck or a deck not being here, hey, look, stop being a pussy, bro. Your deck's just ass. So with that being said, let's just go ahead and get straight into it. The 10th best deck of the OP11 format is PY Pudding. PY Pudding has shown up when it comes to popularity, but as of winning, this is the 10th best deck according to stats. Fact, not an opinion. You guys are probably asking, what makes this deck better compared to past formats? The main reason why is this Katakuri, and also it's the 10-drop Lin right here, just being able to have rush. And since this is a brand new card, let's go ahead and read it. If your leader has the Big Mom Pirates, this character's gain rush. You will always be playing this in a Big Mom Pirates deck. On opponent's attack, once per turn, don -5, you may declare a cause, reveal the top card of your opponent's deck, If the reveal card has the same cost as the declared cost, give up to one of your opponent's leaders a plus 2,000 power during this turn. So this pretty much turns your leader to a 7k leader while getting rushed when you do summon this. So this is another reason why this deck just really good. And on top of just having the regular Charlotte Lily burning life, if you guys don't understand what this deck even does or the concept of it, you pretty much just spin. If you guys don't know what that means, it's really ramp. You can really just ramp to these in-game monsters probably in like, I think, turn 3 if you guys really high roll. And the other brand new card that was really pushing this deck to the next level is this category. Blocker, 8 cost, 8,000 power, and if your turn set up to 2 of your big mom pirates type characters with a cost of 3 or more as active, then add 1 Don from your Don deck and set it as rested. So pretty much this can attack and this can restand your 10 drops. That's the reason why this is so strong, on top of being a 8,000 power blocker. Very nice, on top of also having the Zeus for some crazy board removal. This is the best 2k in the game. I don't care what anybody says, just being able to summon this, remove a 5 cost or lower wall, also being a 2k. Very nice in my personal opinion. Definitely spinning the block. But outside of that, we have another brand new card. I'm not going to read every single one of these OP11 cards. You guys can just look at this as a searcher because we'll be here all day. But nonetheless, that's the gist of this deck, and also playing some board move, the Katakuri, and also using some of the best, probably one of the best. I wouldn't say it is the best event. The best event right now is Gum Gum Giant, but I feel like this might be the second best event in the game, fact, not opinion. So this is the PY Pudding deck. The main reason why this deck is showing up just to play at the table of all the other greats in the format is because this specifically counters UP Luffy. So any deck that specifically counters UP Luffy is going to be shown up here, and we also have some more decks that counter that deck as well. But you know, all in all, Pudding definitely showing up. It's always good seeing an older leader show up to play with everybody else in the current format. That's one thing I always love when they get support. So you know, look, that's all I got about this particular deck. I'm gonna go over every single one of these cards so you can see exactly what card it is. And yeah, that was the Charlotte Pudding 10th best deck of the format, gang. Let's go ahead and get to number 9. So the 9th best deck of the format, it's really tied for 2. So since it's tied for 2, I'm just going to put them here. But they literally won 2 big events in Japan. Let's go ahead and see what the first one is. And that deck is Purple Katakuri. A lot of people are saying this deck is a sleeper, and I think this is possibly the definition of a sleeper. I mean, if you guys don't know what it does, it pretty much allows you to peek into your opponent's life or deck, pretty much getting some knowledge, some future sight, some observation hockey going on in the actual card game. The whole design behind this leader is definitely based as hell. The fact that they actually had this correlate to how Katakuri actually is in the manga and anime, very based in my personal opinion. But all in all, this is a very good deck. We already know what this Katakuri does. This is pretty much what it is. You ramp, and then you get to the point where you guys can start bringing out this character right here and restanding this. But the staple glue is this deck right here, or this card right here. Let's go ahead and read it. This is a 5-drop, 7,000 power. So just that stat line alone is very crazy. Activate made once per turn. You may trash 1 card from your hand, declare a cost of your choice, and reveal 1 card from the top of your opponent's deck. If the reveal cost is the same as the declared cost, draw 1 card and add up to 1 Don card from your Don deck and set it as active. So this is the staple and glue of the deck. Think of this as the Sanji and Pudding from GP Luffy. You see how Sanji and Pudding pretty much makes that deck run? This is the deck, this is the card that makes this deck run. You guys always want this on the board. Very big staple, you know, part of the whole entire deck in my personal opinion. But you know, we already talked about this and what this does. We already talked about this. And just all in all, just very solid deck. If you guys are a Katakuri fan, this might be a deck for you. This also ends out game, just allowing you to just bring this out. If you already have this aboard, be able to attack at 12, bypassing any blockers. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of this deck. Let's go over every single one of these cards again, and we'll go into the 9.1 version of you know, what pretty much came in 9th place, since it did have a tie here. And that tie was with none other than a YGOG member, is T Law, Green Yellow. I'm gonna be real with you, yellow is by far the worst color in the game. A lot of people are saying it's red. I don't even think it's red now, or green, because as you can see, green is actually really showing up. I think we have 3 or 4 green decks on this list. So the worst color in the game is yellow, and I'm not really too enthused to say that, but nonetheless, this is the OP10 leader. And when we just look at a lot of these brand new cards, these cards are actually all out of OP10. The only brand new card is this one out of OP11. Let's go ahead and read it. Once per turn, if you have a supernova type character other than opponent beige that will be removed from the field by your opponent's effect, you may add the character to the top of your life card face down instead. Just being able to spin with your supernovas. And another thing that I've noticed, if you guys don't know how to play this deck or play against it, is this Bonnie. This Bonnie goes crazy in this deck just because it locks down certain Don that may require the opponent to hit. For instance, UP Luffy, they need to hit like 8 or 9 or have like, I forgot how many Don they need to have, but they need to have a max total of Don for them to be able to spin. Bonnie actually prevents you using 1 to 2 Don. How many Don is it? Let's see, it's up to 1 Don. Prevents your opponent from using an extra Don next turn, and that could literally be that make or break if the opponent's going to be able to spin on you, gang. Use this for your Blackbeard matchup. And this is just a very big combo centric deck. I am gonna hold you. I mean, if you guys do like combo decks, I feel like the hardest combo decks to use in the game, in my personal opinion, still is BY Luffy, Law, then Reiju. People say green yellow Law may be harder, but in my personal opinion, I still think BY Luffy is still a little bit harder. But if you guys do want a combo deck that's still viable, that's actually in a top 10, has tournament results, this is definitely the deck for you. Let's go over every single one of these cards again. This is also a high rolling deck, so if once you high roll, you pretty much can never lose. This Law is being able, this is your main boss monster of the deck, as you should figure, since this is a Law deck, but very nice, my personal opinion, is being able to put some life back, have some life replenished in a yellow deck. But all in all, 9.1 tied with category for our 9th best deck of the format. And yeah, let's go ahead and get to our 8th best deck of the format, gang. So for our 8th best deck of the format, look, if you guys like aggro, these 3 lists, yes, you heard me right, we have 3 different decks that all match in aggro demon. That's pretty much what it is. If you guys are an aggro fan, this is definitely the section you guys need to be looking at for all our red players. The first deck we have with the most top so far is Bello Betty. Bello Betty is probably, when it comes to tournament results, does have the most wins out of any other aggro decks. I just think it has the most because all the other aggro decks just isn't tested yet. Everybody knows Bello Betty is a premier aggro deck, so once they see that, they never really try to, you know, test out anything else. But all in all, just being able to spin, abusing this Ivankov, very shice, my personal opinion. Being able to end games through blockers with this, I mean, when you just look at this deck really does truthfully spin, just being able to bring down your opponent's leader's attack. So instance, UP Luffy, we keep on talking about UP Luffy. If you bring down their whole entire leader by 1,000, if you have 2 of these on board, 1,000, now the leader 4,000, and then you could probably get all the way bumped up to an 8,000. I mean, you guys see its effect, plus 3,000 for every Revo type of character on the board, pushing all these characters to 8. I mean, look at all this shit. 8, 9, even with the dragon 12. So that's the reason why this leader is so base, in my personal opinion. If you really like spinning and really like an aggro type of style of play, this is the deck for you. The only card that I'm not really too sure about is this particular card, the Sabo. This is a promo, so if you guys did want to play this possible list in OP10, since OP10 is coming out next week for us, I don't know what to replace with this particular card. Can we have some pro Bello Betty users tell us what do you guys replace this card with for OP10, just to help out the community. I will be doing a top 10 best decks for OP10, but I just want to know, just for I just want to know for personal reasons, what do you guys replace this with if you guys do not use this? But all in all, hyper aggressive deck. Let's go over every single one of these cards. The only thing about this deck as well is that you can't fully have this deck unlock until EBO2. This is probably the only EBO2 card here. Everything else is currently in the game except for this promo. Yeah, this is literally right here. This is the only card that we do not have. So still a great deck though, but let's go over every single one of these cards so you guys can see. Pause the video, snapshot it, do what you need to do, because it's aggro. We don't got time to waste. It's time to spin, and fuck your bitch so we can make it to work by 7 o'clock tomorrow. You get what I'm saying? The next deck we have is aggro. We're talking about aggro. We got Zoro. Zoro has actually been spinning the block. This deck has like 2 or 3 wins. I'm not really too sure, but I do know it's on the lower side. But people is just starting to realize that this deck is really shiesty. We have the zoo package. This is classic Zoro aggro play. Look, if you're coming from Yu-Gi-Oh, where you just summon the character and just attack, this is your deck for you. This is another brand new card from the ST21 structure deck. Very shice, just giving out one of your characters unblockable. A lot of people are asking, how can you play this instead of ďauhuⱠⱠ I feel like this particular card's a little bit better just because you can use a character with you know, power of 6,000 or more. You get what I'm saying? So very shiesty. This includes when you put the Dawn onto a character. So that's how this works. Very crazy ass card, but nonetheless, this is the typical zoo package type of Zoro list. So if you guys are an aggro fan, this is definitely the deck for you. If you're a Zoro fan, this is your time to shine. You guys are showing up just because it counters the #1 deck in the format. #1 deck in the format loses the aggro. So since it loses the aggro, let's show you one more aggro demon no one even talks about, which is still a sleeper, is this deck. This deck right here, this is an aggro demon. I literally, actually, we're gonna have a how to beat video on this deck coming later this week. This deck is so shiesty. This deck does release later on, I think like on Saturday, but out of all the aggro decks we just got done talking about with the Zoro and Bello Betty, y'all need to start tapping into this deck. This deck is shiesty as hell. Nobody's been telling you guys. You guys probably don't even know what it does. Dawn times 1, activate main once per turn. Give up the 2 rested Dawn cards to your characters. There's 2 different builds you guys can play. I'm going to show you this particular build, and there's also another build that you could really run with the zoo package. It actually goes brazy. That's the one I'll be showing you in my how to beat video. This is just another staple version. This is like the cookie cutter glue version of this deck, really abusing this Zoro, abusing this Luffy. A lot of the combos that has to do with this particular deck is this. The main big combo of this deck is really going into this dragon right here. You really just want to summon this dragon. You see dragon's effect, give up to 1 character up to 2 rested Dawn. So you summon this, and then on this is an on play. You give it to the Luffy, attack with 7, and then you use this effect from Luffy, giving 2 Dawn back to the dragon. So now you get to attack with 7 and 11. Very shice. This is also a really base card in this deck as well, just giving up to one of your opponent's characters a negative 2,000 power for the turn. They give this character a plus 2,000 until the end of your opponent's turn. Just having this be a big body on board, very problematic for their opponent. And just all in all, there's probably a couple of more combos that goes on with this deck. I'm not a master of it. I know a lot of combos go with this as well. Give up to one of your leaders characters 1 rested Dawn, so you can literally just summon this, give this an extra Dawn, attack with you know, attack with 6, and then give 2 back to attack with the Monkey D. Luffy. So there's a lot of combos with this deck that I feel like is undiscovered, and this is the reason why I'm bringing it out there for you guys. Let's go over every single one of these cards again. But out of all the, you know, leaders that we just talked about when it comes to aggro, this is probably the most unlocked deck out there with the highest potential. I feel like you guys need to start cooking with this deck, because the thing is, a lot of people don't even know how to play against it, and that you guys can also use that to your advantage as well. Look, this is all we have for our 8th best deck of the format. This is literally all aggro. So if you guys are an aggro fan, you have a lot to choose from. Let's go ahead and get straight to our 7th best deck. So our 7th best deck of the format is none other than Red Black Kobe. I ain't even gonna hold you. I thought Kobe was gonna shit the goddamn bed. I honestly thought Kobe was trash, but when I actually looked at the statistics for the Kobe, this deck has 4 tournament winnings already in the last 2 weeks. So very crazy in my personal opinion, but nonetheless, this is a fan favorite deck. But Kobe out here doing work. 7th best deck, but just by stats. Got the Peacock. We have this Dole. This Dole is actually crazy. It's being able to drop a character 6,000 power less, which means allows you to deal with pretty much everything. A lot of people you know, have struggle with 12 drop characters or 10 drop characters with 12,000 power, such as like the Rush Shanks or that new Big Mom we talked about in the Katakuri deck. If you bring down 6,000 power now, you can really truthfully just deal with it. You know what I'm saying? So if we just keep on looking, another thing in this deck is just being able to attack into active characters. Okay, so if you guys read this right here, give up to one of your opponent's characters negative 2,000. So it's a lot of power reduction in this deck. And also when attacking, this character gains a plus 1,000 power during this turn. Then if your leader has a Navy type, up to one of your leaders may attack characters during this turn, active characters during this turn. So the biggest gist of this deck is being able to attack active characters, so no character is safe, and that's the reason why this deck is so strong, and that's the reason why he's actually only running 3 Porcelain for the blocker. This is actually another broken ass card that is a promo in OP11, but it is already out. Let's go ahead and read it. This character gains negative 3,000 power. It doesn't matter about that, because when you attack, if your leader has the Navy type, your leader's original power becomes 7,000 power until the end of your opponent's turn. So this pretty much makes your leader a 7,000 power every time this attacks. So just being able to save this just due to Kobe's ability, very crazy in my personal opinion. And also it's a promo, so I don't know how, you know, when we're ever going to get this in the States. We probably won't get this in probably until 2030, but it is what it is. This is also another staple and glue of the deck. Even if it is ran at 2, it's still a mandatory. T-Boom for some board removal. Gecko, if you're using a black deck, use the Gecko. And I'm gonna be real with y'all, everybody's liking or complaining about black. This is the only black deck in this top 10 just based off stats that use Gecko Moria. And there's even some black decks out there, or Kobe decks out there, that don't even use Gecko. Gecko's on its way out. Gecko is getting power scaled out of the meta, fact, not an opinion. So Gecko, but everything else is pretty much really simple. A searcher on play, put 3 events back into the deck. This Kuzan is actually really base, allows you to attack into active characters if it's a Navy type. Like I said earlier, this whole entire deck is built off protecting all of your you know, Navy type characters and also attacking into active characters in Kuzan. And also this card allows you to do that. Another staple and glue of this deck right here is this ዄő:mimpo. I feel like this is kind of like a Gecko Moria. Let's go ahead and read it. You may trash 1 card from your hand, draw 1 card, and play up to 1 sword type character with a cost 8 or lower from your trash other than ₦ő:mimpo. Then at the end of the turn, place 1 character placed out by this effect to the bottom of the deck. So a lot of times what I've been seeing is people go into this and bring out the Kobe and pretty much just spin. I'm not sure if that's the correct way to do it. If anything, I'll probably do ₦ő:mimpo into something like this. I don't know the combo lines for this, but that's just what I've been seeing on the sim. We have a blocker. This is the boss monster of your deck. On play, up to one of your opponent's characters can attack one of your opponent's active characters. When attacking, you may return 2 cards from your trash to the bottom of your deck in any order. Give your leader or up to one of your characters a plus 1,000 power until the end of your opponent's turn. So this also boosts up your leader, making it sit at a 6,000 power for next turn. We have the searcher, and you also have this event. This deck is really crazy good. I feel like it's a skill ceiling on it because you have to, it's a lot of resource management. You guys actually really need to know what needs to be sent to the bottom of your deck, because if you guys do not have 3 or more cards in your trash, you cannot use the protection part of this leader. So you guys need to be wary of how and when you guys put cards to the bottom of your deck out of your trash. If you sit there with less than 3 cards, you're pretty much leaders turned off. So very good option for all our black friends out there, but black is pretty much out of the meta. There's only one more black deck out here and they don't use Gecko. So let's go ahead and get straight into our 6th best deck of the format, gang. Let's get it. So for our 6th best deck of the format, it has to be none other than UY Nami. UY Nami has probably the most insane broken ability ever created for any of our yellow decks. Fact, that opinion, it's hella shy. It's definitely fucking old bitch. I feel like it's still being discovered and seeing what are the best cards used. As you guys can see, before, when this leader was first announced, everybody was using the Flampy. They completely cut the Flampy because Flampy is really garbage. Let's go over it. This is for some crazy board removals, bouncing it back to your hand. Putting, why not? You're running a blue deck. Same thing with Josie playing a blue deck. Why not? This actually goes very, very well into Blackbeard. Blackbeard, your deck pretty much almost loses the Blackbeard. So if you guys can have this card, just being able to rush, you can clear anything on the board, mainly like the Burgess and what have you. very crazy ass deck or card in this deck. Sorry about that. And Cracker, I've always been a fan. Look, if I ever play a yellow deck, I'm always playing 2 or 3 Crackers, just because the pressure it does out of life is insane. He's playing 4, and I'm not even going to hold you. 4 is definitely what you need to be running in this deck, in my personal opinion. Just being able to put this back with the Hiyori wall. So you could also put this back with the Hiyori, get the oh my god, so many fucking lines. You love to see it. Another thing that's actually going crazy in this deck is this soul poke perk
I love papayas!
the soul pocus, gang. The soul fucking pocus. I told you guys this was the brand new sauce UI Nami was using. Spins the block, and it's actually a very great card. You guys are probably saying it's a 5 cost, kind of high, but look, that's not what you're using it for. You use it for the Hiyori combo. You can usually put the Hiyori, get the leader effect, and then put the soul pocus. And then when you end up getting attacked, you use its fucking ability. So you get a 5 cost card played for free out of your life. And you guys see the ability. I told you guys to pick this up when it was $2. Now it's sitting at $14, $15, $16. So with that being said, I think tomorrow it's time for us to do a fucking based ass market watch for the pre-ban list, and we'll also be doing a market watch next week for post-ban list to see what cards are moving. So next week, or next week, tomorrow, we're having a ban list come out. So tell me below what cards you think we should be covering. But nonetheless, Soul Poke is a very crazy staple. If you didn't pick it up at 2 and now it's at 14, you got goobs. It seems like this deck is also running some life burning with the Captain Kid, and also the Charlotte Lily as well. Some crazy board removal with the Gum Red Rock, and also with the Katakuri, ending off games of Beige out of life just to piss some bitch ass motherfuckers off, and Eldor just to increase your power as a counter. Let's go over every single one of these cards one more time. I'm not going to fully break down every single one of these decks, because let's be real, if I was to do that, we would be here literally for an hour. I ain't got time for that, but I do got time to give you guys the most craziest and best top 10s you guys ever seen in the One Piece streets. Let's see how many people actually bite this, because a lot of motherfuckers like copying what we do over here on the streets, gang, and without giving us his flowers, but it doesn't matter. Fans will be fans, right? So without further ado, let's go ahead and get straight to our 5th best deck of the format, gang. Let's get it. So our 5th best deck of the format has to be none other than Bonnie. Bonnie is aging like fine wine. I think my man in the Discord, I think his name is Vanguard, I think that's what his name is, he always tells me Bonnie is always in the top. It is aging like fine wine in the cabins in the snow. And I can't even hold you. You right. Motherfuckers is right out here. Bonnie is always going to be a top 10 deck in my personal opinion. When we actually take a look at what Bonnie does, look, I'm not even going to explain to you what Bonnie does. I've been over this deck for the past 6 months. If you guys don't know what this deck does, I'm not going to really talk too much on it too much. Just go ahead and look at a guide. But the only new cards that I really do see is this TCG right here. Just being able to have brush, being able to have some banish, very crazy, and stacking up your Don as well. Adding some more Don to your use every single turn, very crazy, and having some blanket protection with the TCG with anything that's green, and ending off game with the Hody Jones and also the Zoro. If I had to play this deck personally, you know, we don't set trip, but if I personally had to play this deck, I will always just run the Zoro. I've always been a hyper aggressive user of anything I play. I'm not a fan of building the Great Wall of China, sitting here building like I'm playing fucking Minecraft. No one's trying to do that. I'm trying to fuck your bitch and go home and so I can smoke my za. You know what I'm saying? So in my personal opinion, this is definitely the move for Zoro. I'm a big fan of that. But all in all, Bonnie's aging like fine wine. I mean, you could literally play this whole entire list once OP10 comes out with the Tashigis right here, with the Smogi and Shigi. So that's all we got for Jewelry Bonnie. Let's go ahead and get straight to our 4th best deck of the format. So for our 4th best deck of the format has to be none other than Blackbeard. I've already done tons of Blackbeard, you know, pretty much talking about this deck for the past 3 or 4 months. If you guys wondering why you guys don't see it that much, it's just because it's new things. And you know, I feel like Teach is definitely where it needs to be. It's a floodgate. So you guys are coming from Yu-Gi-Oh! This is a floodgate. This is a built-in walking skill drain. I'm not going to break down what this deck really truly does just because I've done it so much. The only thing new is this Kuzan. A lot of people are asking for a Kuzan ban before it even comes out in the West. If you are one of these motherfuckers that say, oh, Kuzan needs to get banned before it comes out, shut your bitch ass up, sell all your cards, because we don't need you in our environment. Just nothing but negativity and bad vibes, and we don't do that over here. Okay, so if that's the type of tip you're on, don't come in the comments saying that, because I'm gonna make you go make a brand new Gmail account. Good vibes only. Kuzan needs to stay, and I'm just happy that Blackbeard is still relevant. Okay, so we just looking at everything else, the only thing that has been changed is the Ice Age, and I don't even think this should be changed in OP11. I feel like everybody should be playing Ice Age in Blackbeard. Fact, not an opinion. Just being able to drop a cost 5 for 1 Don is crazy. I feel like this always needs to be ran. If you are a Blackbeard player, I don't care what the fuck you have to take out. Pause the video, go to TCG player, use my affiliate link as a delinquent should, and buy and put 4 Ice Ages in your deck. This is now a staple in the East, and I honestly don't know why you guys haven't been playing this, because if we actually tie this into Finger Gun right here, you literally kill anything on the board. A Finger Gun in Ice Age kills a 10. A fucking 10. So look, Ice Age definitely ran at 4. And the only other new card that was added was this Caribou, just being a 2K blocker, and then on play trash 2 cards from your hand, and the on plays don't even work. This is a great card for the Blackbeard Pirates, just because your on plays are pretty much turned off, so you don't even have to worry about this effect. But it's a 2K blocker, very nice. I forgot who this replaced, another low cost blocker, but this is one of the best cards to be added in your deck. Fact, not an opinion. And Blackbeard's still the 4th deck, so I have some people out here in the streets saying, yo, you know, I'm not really too sure about Blackbeard. You know, should I get rid of it? If I was you and you guys already have a max rarity Blackbeard, or you guys been playing it for a while, just keep on playing Blackbeard, because don't forget, I think it's like 3 or 4 months, we get the brand new Blackbeard structure deck. So there could possibly be a time where this deck actually becomes even better than what it is. It's the 4th best deck now. Once Blackbeard does get those structure decks, I feel like this could possibly be a top 2 or 3 deck again, like it was OP10 and OP09 in the East, not the West. We got some goofy goobers in the West that they'll rather not play a hard piloted deck. So yeah, the Blackbeard, that's my opinion on that. Very shice. And let's go ahead and get straight to our 3rd best deck of the format, gang. So the 3rd best deck of the format has to be none other than Red Green Smoker. When it comes to top decks that have been topping in the East, this is the 3rd most winning deck out here. I've been telling you ever since Red Smoker won the Nationals in Japan. This is a top 3 deck, and I've been saying it's a top 3 deck. Pretty much it is the 3rd best deck, and voila, it is the top 3rd best deck, just based off wins so far. If you guys don't know what Smoker does, we'll be having a how to beat video on this deck. The only thing that's added new from OP11 is this card right here. It's a searcher, and also you may trash this character, give up to one of your characters a plus 1000 power during this turn. Pretty much giving one of your characters extra 1000 power, just so you know, for an attack or whatever the case may be. Okay, besides that, everything else looks pretty much the same. But out of all the brand new cards, I think the only new card that was added was that brand new card I just went over, which was this one. It's the Peacock. This is literally an OP10 list, and without EBO2. I don't think there's anything in here from EBO2. Yeah, there's nothing in here from EBO2. So this is literally an OP10 list. Once OP10 comes out, you can literally play this list and just replace these 4 for something else. I don't know what else you guys are possibly. Oh yeah, there's another thing too. X-Trick is also from OP11 as well. So you guys have to replace these 2. I'm actually not even sure why they're playing a vanilla. Maybe it's just because it's a 2K, but these are the 2 cards you guys are going to have to switch out for OP10. But besides that, Smoker there's a reason why it's the 3rd best deck in the format when it just comes off of winnings. So Smoker's cooking. I told you guys it was a top 3 deck, and no one listens to me. But like I said, everybody out here is some goobers, bro. So you know, we don't take anybody serious. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and get straight into our 2 best decks of the format, gang. So for our second best deck out of the format has to be none other than GP Luffy. GP Luffy has to look. GP Luffy got his bitch stolen. It was the best deck by a wide margin when EBO2 came around, and UP Luffy just came around, took his bitch, took all his money. Now you see fucking, I mean, that's the reason why he has no shirt on. Fucking, he took his fucking shirt, his socks, and just left him with a hat and a random fucking jacket. I mean, GP Luffy is the second best deck, but nonetheless, the reason why it's second is just because that's how cracked UP Luffy is. Nonetheless, I've talked so much about this deck. The bread and butter of this deck is this Sanji and Pudding. If you leave this on board, it'll allow them to get 2 or 3 of these on the board. You're pretty much just going to lose the game, all right? So just look at everything else. This also clears out and ends the game for you late game, just being able to restand very shice. We keep on looking, and we keep on looking. This deck is pretty much figured out. It's Gum Gum Giant. Everybody's bitching about this card being banned. I just need to tell you guys one thing. Stop being a bitch. Purple has been trash this whole entire time. Ever since I played the game, and then when as soon as purple starts getting good, ban Gum Gum Giant. How about you shut the fuck up and just let the color just live and play? All right, y'all gonna play this game anyways. Stop bitching, bro. Every color every single year needs to be good. We have red broken for 1 year, black after that last year, and this year let fucking purple just be broken for a year. Okay, just let purple be broken. Stop bitching, bro. This is probably one of the most craziest events in the game, but just let purple have its time, gang. Just let purple have its time. I'm getting tired of everybody just complaining and always whining. It's just like we have nothing but crybabies in the West. If their deck is losing once or twice to a deck, they just cry for a ban instead of just getting better. Okay, just get better. Shut up and get better. You'll never hear me complain about any fucking decks like that. If I lose, I'm gonna figure out why I'm losing. But nonetheless, GP Luffy, this deck has really been solved. Sorry for the quick rant right here. It's just like purple has never really done anything, and it's just crazy how it's finally getting its time to shine, and everybody's already bitching about it. It's only been 2 weeks into the 2025 format. It's like, you guys are some pussies, bro. Like, really. But look, that's all I got. GP Luffy, second best deck. If you guys want to see a more breakdown of it, I've talked about it in a whole bunch of other videos. Go ahead and check that out. But let's go ahead and get to the best deck of the format, gang. So the best deck of the format, if you guys did not know already, it's none other than blue, purple, Luffy. Look, I'm going to talk to you guys real quick about this deck. This deck is pulling RP numbers. If you guys never was around for RP Law. RP Law was around. 30 out of the 32 top decks at the CS events in Japan were all RP Law. And it's already showing like it's going to be this for the next 2 months. And I'm telling you right now, if this deck continues to have these type of numbers, this deck is not going to make it out of 2025. A lot of people are asking me, how do we change this deck? Like, how do you nerf it? You can nerf any of these other cards in your deck, and this deck will still just be overtuned just because of its leader effect. There's nothing you can really do to really hurt this deck except for banning the leader. And I know a lot of people say, oh, I don't want to ban a leader. Well, bro, you have to admit this shit is broken. This leader is broken. At first, I never said this deck was good or bad. But what I am going to tell you is that I said, let me see results. Everybody was hyping up this deck. So let's look at some results. And the results are here, and it's pretty much RP Law 2.0. There's tons of decks and videos telling you guys what to do. If you guys still don't know what this deck does, you guys want a quick breakdown. You pretty much ramp until you can be able to use 8 Dawn. Once you use 8 Dawn, you really get a plus 2,000. No, you get a plus 2 cards from your deck every single turn, and then you really start spinning with the Sanji. When you use this Sanji, you bring out the Katakuri, you bring out the Big Mom, or you bring out the Luffy. It's just so many different tools at your disposal, and it doesn't make it any better that you could also search a lot of this shit out just because it is Straw Hats, such as the Sanji and also the this Luffy right here, and on top of this Zoro. And then let's say if you guys don't even have the Sanji or this combo, you still have stuff like Bon Clay here. You still got the Jozu. You still got the blockers. I mean, just as a whole, this is, and also on top of everything I just said, this was the most winning deck that I've seen. I think this particular list you're looking at, I think it went 11-1. So if you guys want the best list possible, this is the best list that has the most wins. I think it went like 11-1. So, you know, this is the deck. This is the deck to beat. So any of these other decks, like I said, the Bello Bettys, the Zoros, like all these decks right here, like these Luffys right here, like all these aggro decks, all these decks that you guys are seeing that's in this tier list, the reason why they're here is to counter that deck. All of these decks. That's how strong this deck is. And I'm gonna be real with y'all. If this continues, this leader's not gonna make it out of 2025. I don't see it. We have to wait till some Japan events actually happen. But all in all, this is the best deck of the format. And I'm actually happy. A lot of people are bitching about it. No, I'm okay with it. I'm okay. Let this leader cook for 6 months, just like Dofi, and then ban it. That's my opinion. Let me know below how long you guys think this deck should be in the meta. But Dofi was here for 6-7 months. Let this be here for 6 or 7 months and just wreck habit. That's, you know, I'm a-okay. Even if it's tier 0, just let it have its time. Purple's never been the best, and it's time for Purple to really show some, you know, show some support to Purple players, bro. They've been in the trenches. They've been impelled down this whole time, dropping the soap. So I'm glad that they're actually able to compete and be able to say, we have, look, this is our year. Purple 2025 is the year. This is our time. I'm happy for all you Purple players, even though yellow is the worst color in the game. But yeah, that's all I got. Tell us below what you guys think of all these decks and how the OP11 meta is shaking up. And yeah, that's all I got. But look, before I go, if you was feeling the vibes, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. It all go.